Hi, I'm Jacqueline Elizabeth, and I will be playing Sophie.
Hi, I'm Dominique Brown, and I'll be playing Sarah.
I'm Janet Maxwell, and I'll be playing Susan.
Hi, Soph. Can I come in?
It's not locked.
I brought you a cup of
What is it?
tea, of course. No doubt you're 47 today.
I'm not drinking tea now.
Since when? Sainsbury added a whole nother aisle just to accommodate your tea drinking needs.
Very funny, I'm sure.
Have you really given up drinking tea?
What difference does it make? If you'd been here, you'd have known when I gave it up. It was when Starbucks opened 2 months ago, if it's any concern of yours.
Hey, what is all of this?
Nothing.
There's something upsetting you. Have you gotten into it with Mom again?
No!
Dad then?
I haven't spoken to him in weeks.
What then? God, you haven't broken up with Mick again.
No, I told you nothing's wrong.
I know there is, Soph. That's why I came by to see you. You've been off with me. I'm worried about you.
There's no need to be.
There clearly is. Is Mom doing her yoga?
Yoga tonight, badminton tomorrow, art class on Thursday.
Okay, so she's out a lot. It's probably her way of coping.
With what?
With the divorce, of course.
But that was ages ago.
She still hasn't gotten over it, though.
Don't you think so?
I would have thought that was obvious.
She stopped referring to him as shitface. He's just plain old Steve now.
That's better. Smile and the world smiles with you.
Makes a change from laughing at me.
Don't slip down this slope of self-pity again.
Since when have I done that?
Ever since I left home, actually, and that was nearly 6 months ago.
It's longer than that, surely.
No, Soph, it's not. Is that why you've been making excuses about not wanting to come by and see me and go on a shopping binge?
I haven't.
You have. Do you still like me?
You're my sister.
I know that, but we've always been friends, so, well.
Well, what?
Do you still like me?
Of course, I still like you.
But do you still love me?
Don't be daft.
But do you, though?
Yes, I both like and love you. I'd even go so far as to say that I adore you.
Good. Then why are you angry with me?
You started it.
What do you mean I started it?
With the tea.
What's the tea got to do with it?
I said that I wasn't drinking tea, and you kept going on and on about why I wasn't. That's what made me angry with you.
I meant, why have you been avoiding me?
Now you are getting angry with me, aren't you?
Look, Soph, I've come over here to have a heart-to-heart with my big sister in the safety of our own bedroom. What?
You said our bedroom.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
I meant your bedroom.
But for years, it was our bedroom. Then you moved out to live with Katie.
Katie and I are sharing an apartment. We're not living together.
Same thing.
It's not the same thing at all. Mm-hmm. People who live together are in a different kind of relationship. We're sharing an apartment, that's all. If I can afford to rent my own, I probably would, but for the moment, it suits us both to share the cost of living independently.
Living independently of us, you mean, Mom and me.
What's wrong with that? I'll be 25 next month. People a lot younger than me have done it a long time ago and has like a handful of kids.
Is that what you want?
I don't know. mean, if I met the right guy, I suppose, but I haven't yet, so I'm keeping my options open.
Mm.
Anyway, I would have thought you would have been glad to have the extra space.
Mom wants this room back.
She wants you to leave.
I think she wants the option of a double bed again.
Is she seeing anyone, like romantically?
Hark at Emily Bronte. Yes, she is seeing someone romantically.
Who is he and why didn't I know about it?
It's supposed to be a big secret. I think she's a bit embarrassed about it, having it off when your daughter is next door.
It makes a change from her having to put up with you and Mick going hell for leather in the next room in the comfort of a double bed.
Mick and I haven't. Not in here, anyway.
Have you talked to him about moving in with him?
God, no. We can live together.
Why not? He's quite good looking in an earthy kind of way, and he has a good job.
But he's thick as a post.
Just because he doesn't have as many certificates or degrees as you.
Okay, I deserve that. I am acting like an old cow, aren't I?
Is that the reason why you've been upset with me? Because I moved in with Katie?
What we had was a bit special, wasn't it? As kids, I mean.
Yes, it was. And we'll always have the memories of sharing Easter eggs and racing to be the first to open grandma's Christmas present, reading stories to each other at 2:00 in the morning and then feeling like shit the next day because we are so tired. They're memories to cherish and not diminish by resentment.
I don't resent you leaving home or you being happy and doing what you want to do. Really, I don't. I just miss you being here in this room when I need you. It brought it all back.
Oh, God, Soph. You're not going on about that again, are you? I mean, is that what this is all about?
It's never gone away, Sarah. I've done my best to bury it, but it comes to the surface sometimes. I can't help it. It wasn't my fault.
That again. Oh, no, it wasn't my fault that you've been screwed up ever since you found out. I know it's my fault for telling you.
It wasn't your job to tell me. It was Mom and Dad's responsibility.
It was one hell of a task for a 10-year-old, that's for sure.
Then why did you tell me?
I was angry with you. You just got away with not getting told off for the umpteenth time, and I wanted to get back at you. It was the first thing that came to my head, so I said it.
Surely you must have realized how hurtful such a thing would be.
I was 10, for God's sake. If the same situation came up now, I'd have dealt with it differently. I mean, I've gone over it time and time again in my head and come up with all kinds of solutions, but it's too late now.
It wasn't for you to tell me anyway. Mom and Dad should have told me when I was old enough to understand.
I was only repeating what the kids were saying at school.
How would they know that I had a twin sister who died when I was only a few days old?
I don't know, but it sure explains why there's so little difference in our ages.
10 months? How is that significant?
It's not impossible for someone to get pregnant again soon after the birth of a baby. These days, we probably think of it as carelessness, but in the case of Mom and Stevie Wonder, it could have been intentional.
Huh. I hadn't really thought about it. But now that you mention it, perhaps my sister, my twin sister, that is, was supposed to be called Sarah, and they chose that name for you as a kind of memorial to my twin.
But they christened her Sally after great Aunt Sally, so Mom said.
Susan, Steve, Sophie, Sally, and Sarah.
They all begin with the letter S. Even Steve becoming shit-faced for a while fits the pattern.
Oh, it explains why we've been so close when we were growing up. Although for 10 months of the year, I was a year older.
You always say that, but I can never get my head around it. Being your sister is great, but the thought of being your twin sister is even better.
So, can you see why I'm missing you so much?
Yes, I can, but it's something you're going to have to come to terms with. I mean, I could have predicted mom giving me grief about me wanting to leave home, and that didn't happen. There was no way I could have predicted that it would have been coming from you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We'll sort it out together.
Mm.
Do you fancy coming back with me for a meal? Katie's on late tonight at the hospital and is going to eat there. It wouldn't take much for me to add a bit bone to the gnase in the pan and chuck a little bit more spaghetti in.
I'm not sure.
It's okay. You haven't been over to my place since the moving in party. We can really get down to some sister bonding.
Hello, I'm home. I saw your car in the drive, so I knew you were here somewhere.
Sarah, popped in to say hi, didn't you, Sarah?
Yes, you're back early, Mom.
The caretaker forgot to open up the community center, so Gil called the session off. The others have gone off to the bar, but I didn't want to. We don't usually see you at this time of day.
Well, no, as Sophie said, I thought I'd come by to see how you both were doing.
So you decided to come by when you thought I was at my yoga class?
I better be going now. Give me a call if you want to come over and we can sort out a time to go for that shopping spree.
I'll think about it. Okay, bye.
Did I interrupt something?
Why do you say that?
It seems obvious. Sarah decides to pop in on her way back from work, which she never does. And the minute I get in, she leaves. So?
So what?
What have you got to tell me?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Sarah and I were catching up, that's all.
You would tell me if there was something wrong, wouldn't you?
What makes you think there's something wrong?
You're not pregnant, are you?
Why would you think that?
You and Mick are obviously very close.
Mom.
These things happen.
Oh, like when you got pregnant with Sarah?
Where did that come from? Is that what you and Sarah were talking about when I came in?
It came up in conversation, yeah.
And how did you get onto that topic?
We were just talking about how close we were, both in age and temperament. The fact that there's only 10 months between us.
There always has been.
Yes, but that means that you got pregnant with Sarah soon after I was born.
Accidents happen.
Sarah was an accident?
Not an accident exactly. It's a stupid thing to say. She came a little early. A little earlier than we planned, that's all.
What about me?
What do you mean?
Was I planned?
We were thrilled when you arrived.
That's not what I asked. Was it a surprise when you found out you were pregnant with me? With us?
Us?
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Is that what you and Sarah were discussing when I came in?
What do you think we were discussing?
What's brought this on?
Doesn't matter what's brought this on. The fact is that I had a twin sister, admittedly, only for a few days, but I had a twin sister, and I didn't know about it until I was 11 years old.
Has Sarah been upsetting you again?
If it wasn't for Sarah upsetting me all those years ago, I may have never known about my twin sister.
We agreed that we would tell you when you were old enough to understand.
Old enough. Old enough? And what age would that be? 16, 18, 21? When you and Shitface, as you call him, got divorced?
It was your father who decided that we should.
Oh, it was Dad's fault now. Do you take any responsibility for the situation at all?
Your father was very controlling, and it was very difficult for me to do anything other than what he wanted. I wasn't strong enough at the time, physically or mentally, to put up a fight. It was all I could do to keep myself together. I knew it was important that I did if the family was going to stay together.
You could have told me.
I couldn't put that burden on you.
What kind of effect do you think it had on me when I found out from my sister, my other sister?
I did everything I could to explain to Sarah how hurtful that information was, and she has been supportive of you ever since. In fact, you took advantage of that, didn't you?
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have said that.
I'd like to know what you mean by that remark. You think I took advantage of the situation? In what way?
All I mean was that Sarah went out of her way to make it up to you. And occasionally, you milked it.
And that's why you've always favored Sarah over me, is it?
You can't accuse me of that. I've been very careful to treat you both equally. Your father, on the other hand.
You're doing it again.
Doing what?
Slagging off Dad.
It's not a case of slagging. It's just.
You were jealous, weren't you?
Now what are you talking about?
You were jealous of the feelings he had for us, whilst ignoring you.
It wasn't like that, Sophie. I promise you. It wasn't until I decided it was time for your father and me to.
Shitface, you mean?
It wasn't until I decided that it was time for us to call it a day that I started to tell myself that I was a person in my own right, that I was capable of making decisions and able to look after you and Sarah. It came as a shock to him, but having made up my mind to leave him, I couldn't go back on it. I didn't have the mind space to deal with anything else.
And I was one of the things on your list to deal with. Move house, get the garden straight, decorate the bedroom. Oh, and discuss with Sophie why she wasn't told that she had a twin sister.
It wasn't like that, Sophie. I promise you.
And what about the new guy in your life? When were you going to tell me? Tell us about him.
What are you talking about?
You are seeing someone, aren't you?
If by seeing someone, you mean, am I having sex with someone? The answer is no. I'm not seeing someone. What gave you that idea?
You're out every night. You're always totting yourself up.
Charting myself up. How dare you say that to me? I go out a lot. That's true. And I do like to put makeup on because it makes me feel good. Surely you don't begrudge me that. Well, do you?
No, but
But nothing, Sophie. I've given everything of myself to you and Sarah, and I've not ever complained about it. I put up with all kinds of shit from your father over the years, hence I call him Shitface. And now that he's out of my life, I'm beginning to find me, the real me. If I happen to decide to have a relationship with another man, which I very much doubt, I won't be asking your opinion or anyone else's before I do so. Is that clear?
sorry. But what was I supposed to think when you said that you wanted your bedroom back with a double bed in it?
Oh, that? You thought me asking you to move into the smaller bedroom.
Uh-huh.
It was because I had plans to make full use of the full-size bed?
Well, isn't it?
If you must know, it wasn't.
Why then?
Ironically, it's the complete opposite to what you were thinking. I want to get a good night's sleep.
And being in a double bed will help that?
being in a room that is not on the opposite side of the house to you and Mick when you are enjoying an animated sex tape will probably help.
Do you have to embarrass me like that? Oh my God.
I'm supposed to be the one who is embarrassed. You need to have a little more consideration for those around you.
Stop being a selfish cow, you mean?
I wouldn't have put it quite like that. But you've been spending too much time in here on your own.
I suppose that's a dig at me not having a job. I've tried to get one.
I know you have, sweetie. That's not what I meant. Why don't you take up Sarah's offer? It'll do you good.
I don't want to be a nuisance.
She's your sister. She thinks the world of you.
I want to see my sister. My other sister.
What do you mean?
I want to see the sister I never had.
Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious. I would hardly joke about something like that, would I? Well,
I don't know.
what do you mean you don't know? Can I see her? Where is she? Mom, I said, can I see her?
Yes, I heard you.
Can I then?
It's difficult.
What's difficult about it? You do know where she is.
Of course I do. She's buried in the cemetery.
My sister is buried 3 stops on the bus away, and you've never told me?
I told you it was difficult.
I don't believe this.
What difference does it make whether she's 2 miles away or 2,000? She's gone, hasn't she?
Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't want to upset you.
It's bad enough I've lost one child. I don't want to lose another.
You're not going to lose me. I'm here. Do you visit the grave?
Whenever I can, usually on the way to my classes.
Is that why you're involved in so many?
It's the only way I can cope with it. When your father was here, I was so full of hate for him, it distracted me. Now he's gone. It's harder to keep her out of my mind.
What was her name?
She was called Sarah.
I thought so.
It doesn't mean that we loved either of you any less. In fact, we loved you all the more.
But why didn't you tell me?
I tried, but the timing was never right. Then when it came out the way it did, I couldn't handle it.
When did Sarah find out?
It was about 2 years before
2 years?
She came downstairs late at night when your dad and I were having a fight. We were throwing insults at one another and he brought the subject up.
What was Sarah's reaction when she found out?
We weren't really sure that she had heard anything. She was half asleep. She probably thought it was a dream.
And you never questioned her about it?
No.
God, Mom, what were you thinking?
I know. I should have talked to her about it. I've regretted it ever since.
She never said anything to me about it. We've always been close, and she never talked about it. Well, not until the day she flew in a rage and blurted it out to spite me.
She must have been bottling it up all that time.
I miss her. Now that she's moved out, it's as if I've lost my sister Sarah all over again.
I know, sweetheart. You're a bit down right now. When you get a job...
Don't start on me.
I'm not starting on you. All I was saying was, when you get over this rough patch...
You sound like the guy at the job center. He's always telling me to face up to the challenge.
He's only trying to help you, Sophie. We all are.
It's a shame you didn't think of that before.
That's not fair.
And I suppose it was fair that you should all keep me in the dark about the fact that I had a twin sister, was it?
No, it wasn't. But what is done is done. Do you really want to see her grave?
Yes, I do. I feel closer to her now than I've ever felt before.
Okay, if that's what you want.
It's what I want. It's the only way I can move on.
Do you want to go now?
We can't go now. It's getting dark.
First thing in the morning, then.
You've got to go to work.
I'll take some time off.
Are you sure?
I'm not really sure about anything at the moment. But if that's what it'll take to make you feel...
Shut me up.
No. If that's what it'll take to help you deal with this...
Deal with it. How else am I supposed to deal with it?
I know.
I want Sarah to come too.
That's up to her to decide.
Do you think she'll want to?
Sarah has lost a sister too, don't forget. She's decided to deal with it in her own way.
By ignoring it, you mean?
No, I don't mean that. It's just that she hasn't wanted to visit the grave.
She's had the chance of doing that?
Your father and I...
Sarah was given the option of visiting the grave of our sister, and I wasn't? I don't believe this.
It seemed to be the right thing to do at the time. Looking back on it, perhaps we should have...
Given me the option to do the same? Yeah, you should have.
But you were not strong enough to take on the added stress that it would have put on you.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
We talked it over, and your father and I agreed that it would be better for you.
Better for me? Better for all of you, you mean?
It wasn't like that. What are you doing?
Calling Sarah.
What are you going to say?
I'm going to ask her if I can take her up on her offer of spaghetti bolognese.
Is that all?
That's all for now.
And what about visiting the grave?
Can we do that tomorrow? Just the two of us.
Of course we can.
Thank you.